All right, we are finally here. Welcome everyone. Sorry for the delay. And yeah, welcome to this new live stream of the Second Life 23 birthday, the Motorsports exhibition that mainly, as far as I know, mainly Kali has worked on. I guess more collaborators that have been there, but Kali has been the main one working on it. And in the live stream with me is gonna be Luke Carmona.
Hello, everybody.
So, first of all, just to clarify, Kali is the main contributor to the exhibition, but are there more people involved in this?
I helped placing some of the vehicles out here and the rotation scripts, and also the harmony details, or at least the pictures in the back wall there. And then Candy helped put together a list of a ton of names, as you can see with the stars, but we can get to the details of those stars later. It was primarily Candy, not Candy, Callie, both K's. Mostly Callie, like 99% of the build really was her.
Kali says in the chat as well, I have to give credit to Candy for reaching out to the various leagues and getting the list of names for me to create the stars. The stars, we're gonna look into them as well later because I found them pretty cool actually. So yeah, basically for those that are wondering, my PC was for some reason having some performance drops for moments that didn't allow me to properly speak or show what was going on the screen, so I decided I was planning to show my new VTuber model, but sadly it's not gonna happen. Today I will look into it how to make it work, but yeah, in the meantime we are going just vanilla Second Life experience. So this year looks quite different to last year, because here we have actually a real life story, right, to talk about the Beverly Hills Speedway Syndicate. Can you give us a little intro to it?
Well, this is mainly a story around board track racing, aka motordromes, from the 1920s and very early 1930s, which is a period of time when there was a ludicrous push for motorsports in the United States, but instead of your dirt tracks and whatnot that we're used to now, this was the 20s. So they wanted speed, and the best way to achieve speed was to do it, was to build everything out of wood, because they didn't have the technology at the time to, build such steep banking with, dirt or concrete, especially pavement. So you had all these tracks cropping up throughout the U.S., built entirely out of wood. The banking could be up to usually 60 degrees or so, but some of them, especially for the motorcycles, could be nearly 90 because they're just small
90.
little things. But for the smaller ones, yeah. But they called them murder drones for a lot of them because, yeah, pretty dangerous. But no, the bigger tracks, they started off really just as giant circles, literally just a giant wooden circle with super steep banking. And they would be the fastest tracks, not only in the United States, but pretty much in the world. Like before they were setting land speed records on the beaches, they were setting land speed records on these board tracks. And then as time progressed, technology would progress, and innovation and ideas, which would lead to the I forget exactly what the track is called. Beverly Hills something or other. We'll get to the exact name once we look at it. But it was the first track designed with a special type of banking, which again is specified along the info panels on the track here. We'll get to that part. Just a specialized type of banking. But let's just throw in Callie's thing here, what she's saying. So the theme this year is for SL23B was the Golden Age of Hollywood, which is a difficulty to tie in. But while researching, Callie found out about the Beverly Hills Speedway Association, which was commonly referred to as the Speedway Syndicate. This group included Hollywood actors and producers, and she discovered a fascinating history that she never knew about prior.
So it's always interesting to find about these stories that most people don't know about, but in the moment you start to dig in, you suddenly find things that are always this interesting. So I guess we can actually get into the story. We'll of course check the whole thing, the whole exhibition, all the details, but since the okay, I'm getting this performance issue again apparently, so if sometimes I don't speak, it's because I'm getting a bit laggy. But yeah, we're gonna show everything, but we will start of course with the story, which is the main theme of the play. So, dawn of a golden age, following World War One. At the dawn of Hollywood's golden age, a group of actors, racers, and businessmen set out to build a new racing circuit in Beverly Hills. This group of individuals would come to be known as the Speedway Syndicate. Looks like some kind of Cosa Nostra story and everything, right?
Zoom in on that picture there.
Oh yeah, true. The pictures as well. You can see the
Behind
first...
you missed the first one.
Which one? Which...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the first picture there. Yeah. That is the track itself, which I believe, I can't remember which corner, maybe the west one. It's where the Beverly Hills Hotel now sits. Whatever it's called specifically, I can't remember. Obviously, it's been developed, the entire area. Callie's typing again. She's got more information. If only she could use voice. Beverly, Wilshire.
And I do have a picture.
And there is a picture of it later.
So this is technically the first oval ever made?
No.
No.
No. No. There have been many ovals before this. It's just that this was the first one to have a specialized type of corner banking.
Alrighty.
Because remember, a lot of these tracks, when built before this, also made out of wood, were just circles, or they were kind of smaller in size, kind of an oval shape in the traditional sense of a racing oval, but the banking was more so uniform throughout the entire thing.
You can see the texture of the track here, just to remind people it was indeed made of wood. Not a lot
It was
of
made of
friction,
nothing but
I'd say.
2x2s, and yeah, it was made of nothing but 2x2s and 2x4s. Fun fact about these 2x2s and 2x4s, because it's all made out of wood, obviously, over time they're going to wear out and they're going to fly apart. So you would have people underneath the track, like carpenters and engineers, patching holes as cars race over them.
Something nowadays would be impossible to imagine because of safety reasons, and yeah, the standards are so high right now. Kali says, fun fact, the boards were actually laid on their side, I just didn't have time to prepare a proper texture.
Yeah, so rather than the flat side of the board facing upward, you'd have the sides, the skinny side of the board facing outward, because that's less flex. But overall, that is a lot of wood.
Yes. A storied past. At the cost of 500,000 United States dollars, construction of the 1.25 mile wood oval took only a few months. The venue could seat over 70,000 spectators. Beverly Hills Speedway was inaugurated on February 28th of 1920. Very little footage exists today, though the following silent films are documented. The Roaring Road from 1919, narrative comedy drama starring Wall Street, Beverly Hills Board Truck Racing from 1921, silent documentary 6 minutes runtime, and Racing Hearts from 1923, another narrative comedy drama starring Agnes Ayres and Richard Dix. I'm sorry for the pronunciation of these names, I'm just not familiar with them. So there's actual footage. I guess there's not a link of it here, or is there? But I guess we can actually look into it at some point on YouTube.
No direct links. I've not seen them myself either.
I have not included them,
as
and
Callie
some of
says,
them are considered lost films. Oh, so lost media. We see a picture here of the cars and the crowd. We can actually notice here the good of the road. I'd say if we pay enough attention to it. Alright, let's keep moving. Brakes need not apply. Pioneering the board track phenomenon in the 1910s were Speedway bikes. Absent of brakes, clutch and transmission, a 1000 cubic centimeters, I guess, V-twin engine was the whole package. These bikes could reach top speeds of 115 miles per hour. Good on board tracks like Beverly Hills could earn the name of martyrdromes, as hundreds of riders and spectators could lose their lives on these tracks. Well, that was a thing as well back then. Like, races were actually like super dangerous to the point that many people died there, even in some exceptional circuits that are not even a circuit, like the Isle of Man case. It still happens, but yeah, nowadays it's impossible to think something like this to be allowed. But that is the beginning, of course, of everything.
Yes. So more fun fact and a little bit of extra history. Emmy's about to pop in here. She's asking for a teleport. So if you're familiar with the Olympics, which many people are, though they may not be familiar with this particular sport that I'm about to mention, are you familiar with the name of velodrome?
No, personally I'm not.
A velodrome is a very steep oval track for bicycle racing of sorts. Have you ever seen those events where people race their bicycles kind of like drafting each other around a really short, steep oval?
Yes, those I know, yes.
Just the sport itself, though. So it's called velodromes. So it's interesting that this all evolved from velodromes. You would have the bicycles, because back at the time, obviously, no one really had cars unless you were super wealthy. But velodrome racing was incredibly popular. I need to mute the music here, it's distracting me. So you would have these velodromes that would be incredibly popular, but you would need to also have pacers. And one individual, I forget their name, decided that in order to properly pace their team, they would stick an engine on their bicycle and it would putter them around the track. It was extremely unreliable, yet it completely captivated everybody who was there. And you had all these people who wanted to either invest in the technology or develop it themselves in one way or another. And at some point, people decided, you know what? What if we had these motorized motorcycles now, and run them around these velodromes? So that's what they started to do. They started to race these motorcycles around these velodromes. But they started to get a bit too fast, so they started to build these tracks custom made. The people who actually saw these, so these were happening out in Europe for the most part, and then people from America would see them. They'd bring the idea to the States, but they would build them differently. They would build these tracks in these small, perfect circles that were just really, really steep. You'd have to go at least 40 miles an hour just to not slip down the banking. because they were 60 to nearly 90 degrees in banking. And then as the speeds grew higher and as cars became more prevalent, people decided, so what if we started racing cars on these things? Well, they needed more space, so they expanded the size, and you had these mile to mile and a half long tracks, sometimes even 2 miles long. Like I think Beverly Hills was 2.5 miles, I forget exactly, as the years went on. So it's just kind of interesting. 1.25, as Callie says, for Beverly Hills. So yeah, it all started from bicycles on velodromes, which is still an Olympic sport and standard sport, and then it turned into motorcycles, and then cars, and the tracks got bigger and faster and more dangerous.
Very interesting. So they were actually bikes that put engines on them at the beginning. That's the kind of thing that I, as a kid, wanted to do with my bike, right? And I guess many others.
That or you just stick a card in between the spokes.
Wuthering Heights, while many came before it, Beverly Hills Speedway was the very first track in the United States to use spiral easement, an engineering concept that would enable smooth transitions in banking. The track had a peak angle of 45 degrees in the corners that leveled out gradually for the straightaways. While not an exact replica, the corner in front of you was built to the same extremes as the real one. It measures 50 feet tall, or just over 3 stories. I'm not familiar with feet as a measurement, so any clue how much that in meters it is?
15.24.
Alrighty. You can see some pictures here as well as some models. These car models, who made them? Were they made for this exhibition, or were they picked somewhere else before? Yeah, somewhere else.
Callie is typing. She's going to answer that question. She says she found them online and uploaded them.
Alrighty.
Yeah, they're more of a cartoonish, stylistic version of these types of cars. Because at the time, like if you look through all the pictures and if you Google all the cars from that time, like they were sometimes slightly bit bigger, but you did have some really small cars like this. But also, all of the tail ends were pointy. This very smooth, rounded back end thing was not a thing. Because even back in the 1910s, 20s, and 30s, people knew about aerodynamics to some extent.
Yeah, definitely not quite what they had, but similar. Some absolutely use. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, lagging again. Still looking pretty nice. And yeah, Emi said that they should be scripted. I mean, would you consider scripting this for some classic series? Now that we have the
Well,
modeling world.
having looked at the models themselves, Kelly would need to at least re-upload the wheels because the tires and the spokes are linked separately.
Well, Kali says she's considering it, so we'll see. A beginning and an end. The 1920 championship car season consisted of 5 points scoring races, beginning and ending at Beverly Hills Speedway. During the inaugural event in February of 1920, Jimmy Murphy could reach an average speed of 103 miles per hour. I again don't know this in metric measurement, how much is miles per hour in kilometers per hour.
165.7.
Alright, pretty fast already. Speeds of which could not be exceeded in time trials until 1923 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is just the most emblematic oval, I guess, one of the most emblematic ovals. Tragically, the final race of the 1920 season would claim the life of that year's Indianapolis 500 winner and national champion Gaston Chevrolet. Is this person related to the brand Chevrolet?
Yes.
The founder, the son of the founder?
Callie's typing again. Brother of Louis Chevrolet. So, yeah, so Louis Chevrolet is the actual Chevrolet that the brand Chevrolet got their name from. He was basically the he was the face. They Chevrolet used him a lot. Like I remember reading up some history about Louis Chevrolet. It's a very interesting story, but it's also kind of sad because they used him a fair bit. Didn't compensate him fairly in some aspects.
Here's a picture,
But,
picture
yes.
of Gaston Chevrolet in his car from that year, 1920.
And that looks like he's actually in Indianapolis if you see the bricks beneath him.
I'm not familiar with it too much, so I cannot tell, but I will trust your word.
Because back then, Indianapolis, after it was its initial run, was repaved with bricks, which is why it has the nickname of the Brickyard, because the entire track, 2.5 miles, was paved in nothing but bricks.
Ah, true, actually.
And even though that track is older than a lot of those these board tracks that sprung up in the late 10s and throughout the 20s, the motodromes were actually, in general, somewhat a bit more popular than the 500 at Indianapolis, because you were able to reach higher speeds, which at the time really a lot of people were just all about. It was all about the speed, even regardless of the dangers.
Yes, of course. It's interesting to see actually the Kali saying something. It was founded by Swiss race car driver and automotive engineer Louis Chevrolet with his brother Arthur Chevrolet and William C. Duran. So I guess this is another brother from the family, but not one of the actual founders. Alrighty.
Yeah.
I was mentioning the tires. Actually, they have some kind of layer of metal, or what it is, or wood.
Say again?
If you check in this picture, the one from Gaston Chevrolet, the tires of the car is not rubber, right? It's like
No, it's rubber.
A layer of wood or metal, or what is it?
No, it's all it's rubber. It's just you have to remember at the time, or know it from back then. Rubber, for the most part, you know how cars, like old cars, have what do they call it? White something shoot. White walls, I guess. White wall tires.
Ah, yeah, the white face. Yeah.
Yeah, the white face, because rubber back then is naturally white. They would just use charcoal or something to turn it black. So it's just kind of the way that the tires were designed at the time. You'd have the white walls just naturally, but then the tire that comes into contact with the ground, obviously it's gonna dirty itself up significantly. So it kind of creates this weird surface, and just the way that they designed them at the time as well, kind of a smooth, flat, sudden change in the curve. So it's probably just lighting tricking your eyes there. It's all rubber. Otherwise, it would just splinter apart immediately.
Yeah, I guess the risk back then of kind of.
Yeah. One more fun fact, because we were speaking about speed. So there was an average speed of 103 or 160 something kilometers per hour. The fastest speed ever achieved on one of these board tracks was at the Atlantic City Speedway in New Jersey, which was 147.7 miles an hour or 237.74 kilometers an hour.
Okay, that for that time is crazy.
That record, I don't think, was broken for. I could be completely wrong, but I just know that it was a long time, probably decades, maybe 20-ish years until it was broken in Indianapolis.
Yeah, people tend to believe that the cars back then were not that fast, but they were actually super fast. What I mean, the main evolution of the cars in all these years has been in terms of aerodynamics and efficiency and all this, but back then already the Formula One cars were already super fast. In straights, of course. In turns they were super slow,
Oh yeah.
but in
So yeah,
many straights
pre-war
were, yeah,
for the
300 already.
the pre-war cars, as they really call them, are Grand Prix cars, because there wasn't any Formula One until
Yeah,
1950.
just for people to understand,
But
right?
yeah, like the engines that they shoehorned into these cars were more about torque than anything, especially the further down you go. Like, they have very low revs, but they were incredibly powerful. But also, because the cars are so heavy, they didn't want to turn or slow down. So I mean, they took corners insanely slowly, but they were incredibly fast in a straight line,
Mhm.
and especially with banking to help them.
Alright, let's move to the next one. My Kingdom for a Horse. Amidst soaring property values, the track would close in 1924 after selling to a development group. The Syndicate would move operations to the site of a former horse track in the heart of Screenland, just south of,
Heart screen, yeah.
the heart of Screenland, just south of MGM Studios in Culver City. MGM Studios is this one with the lion, right?
Yes.
In the intro, yeah. With its close proximity to several movie studios, a number of films were shot on location, two of which are documented: The Pace That Thrills from 1925 and Racing Romance from 1927. Are these available on YouTube or not? Lost media as well.
No. No idea. That's a Callie question. She is typing.
Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Beverly Hills, and picture of a race happening here. I did not find them, but I do believe a historical society has one of those too. This picture is actually great, right? The second picture from this
Yeah.
stand is really great. I
Yes.
really like this one. You can see all the people
Oh,
here,
yes.
all the cars attending to the event, and the drivers. Yeah, and the MGM studios behind that corner.
Yes, you can see one of the domes for the sets.
All the stuff happening around, yes. Alright, parks and recreation. In 1926, I think I'm lagging again, Culver City was host to just one race and would soon meet a similar fate to that of Beverly Hills. While both track construction was cheap, maintenance was not. By the end of 1927, the circuit could be set aside for housing and become the site of Culver City's first public park. The final race was held on March 6th of 1927. During qualifying for the opening race of the AAA Championship car season, Frank Lockhart would set a world speed record of 144 miles per hour. This record would remain for the next 29 years until it was yet again broken at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 1956. I guess this is the record you were talking about before, right?
Yeah, I forgot that it was even stated here, but yeah. Online sources say it's 147 miles an hour, but it could be up for other sources say 144.2. So I guess it's not entirely clear. I mean, obviously back then, technology was kind of all over the place, and record keeping isn't the greatest. So it's a mix, 144 to 147. But yeah, 29 years until it was broken, just because those tracks were just so incredibly fast. But as mentioned here, maintenance was crazy. They just kept falling apart, or they also kept catching on fire constantly, either because of crashes or, from many reports, because of the homeless people who would build their camps underneath the banking and then accidentally catch them on fire. Um, but yeah, there were stories from racers of how just running around on these tracks, as they would degrade over time, you'd have splinters the size of like your finger or larger flying through the air, and some of them hitting their skin and going so deep that it would like flatten against the bone.
Yeah.
You'd just be pulling splinters and rocks and all this other stuff and oil, because all these cars back then, a lot of the ways that a lot of these engines used to work back in the day, is that you would have the engineer constantly pumping oil through the system, because it wasn't retained or cycled through, so it would just spill out onto the track, go into the faces of the drivers, or also coat the track itself. So you would have a lot of really serious accidents, because the wood would get saturated with all the oil, and cars would just slide like it's ice. So this is why they were eventually called murder drones. Just people were constantly dying, and there was one particular circuit in like Philadelphia or whatnot that was especially deadly. Like it would, I think it killed 2 of the reigning Indianapolis 500 winners in the years that they won them. It's just, I'm glad that these tracks are definitely gone, but cool history nonetheless. And Callie says, based on the types of people involved with board track construction, I suspect their business model was to buy cheap land, build a cheap track, host some races, and then sell to a development group when land values went up. That was the case for some of them, but a lot of them were just for the simple fact of they saw the ludicrous business of this style of motor racing, and understood just how much cheaper it was, because they compared the build cost to Indianapolis, which I think was, like in today's money, billions of dollars more with conversion rates than it would be to build their board tracks, which was not even $1 million. I think Indianapolis at the time, in the 20s or the 10s when they built it. In fact, even before that, it was like 1909 when it opened, or earlier than that. It was like $7 million in that time period, which is insane today. But also, you could build a board track for like $50,000 or something like that. So, or as time went on, it's like $500,000, $700,000 at the most. So you could, and then obviously you have to, you make tons of money from the ticket sales, and then railroads would actually be built out toward these locations, and it would be a business boost for the railroads to ship out, to try and transport. Not, it's like they would use the tracks to not only transport the lumber, but then they would use the railroads to transport the people after the track was built. So it just became a ludicrous business all around for everybody.
Alrighty, and we have here the credits, I guess. Behind the boards, with the sunset on Culver City Speedway, the Syndicate was effectively dissolved. But who were they? So there are individual names. Art Pillsbury, civil engineer involved with the vast majority of board track developments in the 20s. Cecil B. DeMille, actor and filmmaker considered to be one of the founding fathers of American cinema. Cliff Durant, the son of General Motors founder William C. Durant. Cliff is known as an American playboy, and racing driver. Jack Prince built the first ever wooden track for motorized competition in nearby Playa del Rey. Jesse L. Lasky, producer and founder of famous Players Lasky, what would eventually become Paramount Pictures. Oh, interesting. Louis Meyer, 3-time Indianapolis 500 winner, best known for the tradition of drinking milk after winning the 500. Who was drinking milk in Formula 1 recently? Or am I inventing it?
They have never consumed milk at Victory Lane for the
So it was someone just not
Formula 1.
drinking alcohol instead. Maybe I'm confusing it with Homelander for some reason. Whatever. Silsby Spalding, a businessman and politician who served as the first mayor of Beverly Hills from the 26th to the 28th, and William Danziger, director of Rodeoland and water company known for establishing the city of Beverly Hills. Lovely, lovely history. Unmentioned, but Buster Keaton is documented as having frequently Beverly Hills and Culver City Speedway. So could you think this could be worth a movie to be considered as part of the Hollywood experience? For those who don't know, he is perhaps the most famous actor of the silent film era.
At least in the comedy genre.
I mean, the silent film era, the only actor I think I know is Charles Chaplin, but maybe it's because it became...
Oh, they were making films at the same time.
Ah.
Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton was mainly known for his insane stunts.
Alright, so let's take a look around now. We have, of course, the information about this. I guess we mentioned here mainly the series and themes of the people most involved around our group, right? The ones from...
Yes, being as this is the motorsports community plot for the most part. Yeah, we have our various leagues. Mainly, well, we have the Sims on top, but our special leagues down at the bottom as well. So, LC Racing Circuits with the FAA little logo next to it. Racers Island, which is they're kind of both the Sim and the league at the same time. Star, which is Southern Thunder Auto Racing, ran by Marie Robbins. Teller Motorsports Park in Slarka, which is run by Anthony Stewart, Biller Longfall, and the Teller Motorsports Park team. And then Spirit Racing League, run primarily by Christina Kurtau and Becky Ager.
We will look into it in a moment because we have cars representing the series. And for any visitors that join, just so you know, in both entrances you have this little delivery thingy here where you can claim a lot of different racing cars of different kinds for free. They were developed by Donovan Michalski, who's also the owner of Mosley Cars, that he also sells other kind of cars for casual driving, but if you want the racing ones, you have them here to claim for free.
I think it's pronounced Mikulski, even though it's kind of CH.
Okay, yeah. Me and my pronunciation of stuff based on how we do it in Spain, like Clifford McTitties, right? Cali says, I didn't have logo for Spitfire or GSR. I do have the landmark in there though. Yeah, of course, I guess. I mean, yeah. Guess you can always look for the groups, and what I do when I need a logo from something I don't have the actual texture, I just go to the groups in Word and I just I do literally a screenshot and cut it from there. Okay, so what do we have here? We have picture of the one of the latest events happened in the racing community, which was the Harmony Grand Prix,
which you pronounce as Harmony, like harmony. But no, Harmony.
Okay, Harmony. The 2026 Harmony Grand Prix was the single largest spectator racing event ever recorded in Second Life history. On June 7th of 2026, over 200 concurrent spectators lined circuit the Harmony and the adjacent regions to watch as 16 drivers took to the purpose-built Monaco-inspired street circuit. There's a live broadcast is in Kira's channel or is in Harmony channel with Kira helping with the broadcast? I don't no longer remember.
Kira's channel.
Alright, so in Kira's channel, yeah, you can click on here and you will get a link to it. Event organizers: Harmony Judge Club and Parquet. Track designer Luke Carmona. Track builders Luke Carmona and Cali Finesmith. Sanctioning body the FBA. 59 laps and 30 minutes after lights out, Eli Bennett, came around the final corner to take the checked flag, followed by Jesus Crisp in second and Cali Finesmith rounding out the top 3. Here we have a picture of the podium after the event.
Yes, when everyone gathered up on top of it.
Mainly drivers on the stand in the middle.
Yeah, most of the drivers were in the middle, and then a lot of the
Artists
Harmony
left,
and
yeah.
Parquet. Well, yeah, the Harmony and Parquet people on the right, and then the B something. I don't want to say their actual
B7S.
name out loud by mistake. B7S, right? Because I forget what they're actually called in real life. I didn't know if B7S was the real name or the fake name.
It's a reference to BTS, which is the real life game.
Oh, you said it!
It's okay.
We're gonna get demonetized now.
Nah, I'm not gonna. I mean, it's fine. They just have their own stuff. Information.
There we go. She said EMCA.
Information buttons. I'm not clicking them in general because they give the same information as it's written here in the stands. But yeah, you can also read them this way. Details here on the circuit, the Harmony.
Yeah, that is the track map itself.
Yeah. Actually, the environment was really nice. I mean, for me as someone who had to manage a team, I had to hide the rest of the regions and de-render a lot of things. But for spectators, was definitely very nice environment. And the track itself is also great. It really it reminds you about Monaco. There are certain corners that are like very similar. And here details on the participants as well as the winner, Eli Bennett, that was gone for almost 2 years, and he returned to claim the victory in here. Under the Evergarden squad, it was Cali, Finesmith and Cenizo, with Carmona, GP1 team, Amy Blueberry and Valky Pepper back to the track, these two together. Spark Speed Racing with Beverly, Onyx and Yorkie Bardeen. I have to say, I really like the livery of this car. Apex Angels with Atsilung and Lara. Renaissance Van Wiedelmin with Rau Hakuro and Ragnar Van Wiedelmint. Stuart Motorsports with Marcus West and Taylor Aeralo. Husaria returning to the track as well with Candy Tomorrow and Nikuri, and the P1 and P2 cars from Veneto, Eli Bennett and Jesus Crisp. The historically two best GP1 drivers, they showed here the performance and proved why they are the best.
Yes, 2 GP1 championships split between them. Or sorry, 4 split between them, but 2 each. But yeah, there were so many sky blue to pink and purple cars out there that race. I was really struggling to tell from up above who was who between Apex and Husaria.
Yeah, honestly, like for example, Husaria and Evergarden, it's true that they have a too similar scheme, and also Apex Angels. Yeah, we didn't think very well on not mixing with each other, but yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, let's say, because Husaria have had that design roughly for a long time now, so they kind of had first dibs in a sense, but they weren't around for a while, at least not in this form. The only driver running around in Husaria paints and colors was Candy, but not in that specific format. It was mostly black with some accents of pink and purple. But their GP1 car always had that kind of gradient from blue to pink. And then Apex Angel showed up and they said, "No, wait, that's what we want to look like." They had no idea what Husaria looked like. So it's just pure coincidence.
That might lead to a collaboration Apex Angels and Husaria just to combine colors in the future. We will see. Here we have some tracks to all of these are to Racers Island, right? Mango Kai, Herrenhaus, Palatine, Bristol, which are ovals, Tall Pines, and Anubis Horde. And we have here this man who's always present in any event, Mango. I guess Kali will want to give us some details about him because it is an idol for many because of his contributions to the racing community. So since he's here, I guess it's good to give him a mention and also mention a bit of his story if you want.
I don't think Kelly wants to go over his history on text. There's too much with this guy.
Just a
He
little
used to
summary
run.
is fine.
He basically just raced everything. If there was a race going on, he was there. And he was around for a very long time. He used to own Racers Island for a short period of time when he took it over from the original owner, just as a try to help save the sim. But that didn't last very long. He got burnt out. But no, he was very instrumental for a lot of people's involvements and supporting other leagues and series. And he's the reason why I'm here. So. Yeah, and used to be Candy's teammate, I think, for a few things, if I recall. I can't remember. I just know that they were associated with each other in some way or another. But yeah. And all these tracks up on the back wall here, these are all Racers Island tracks, which it's totally fair. Kelly did like 99% of all the work, so.
And now we have the cars with the leaks. Let's get into them. We have. Can I click here and get the chat pop-up or not? No, I'm not getting the chat pop-up for some reason.
You click the eye above it.
Okay, now yes. Spirit Racing League is one of the, I guess is the, in modern, of course I cannot talk about historically, but I guess in recent times, in the recent era, I guess Spirit Racing League is the most emblematic oval series, both for stock cars and for Indy cars, right?
It's the most inviting, open, in terms of, anything, anyone and anything is welcome, really. Like, they have no qualms about if you are the newest of new drivers who haven't the slightest idea about what they're doing. They don't care. You could come, you can show up, grab the cars and race. They'll welcome you. So because you do have other oval leagues out there like Slarka, which they have their car right beside me here, but Slark is a bit more they crack down more on driver etiquette and things like that, just to make sure that the racing is a bit more professional in a sense. Spirit Racing League is far more casual. It's the most casual oval racing league you're ever going to come across, and it's working out very well for them because they have lots of people who show up.
Yeah, that and very nice cars developed by Donovan, as far as I know. Yeah.
Yes, next IndyCar. Yeah, their IndyCar season with these current cars is coming to a close within the next month or two, and then they're going to transition to a Donovan-derived but Slarka modified IndyCar, which is going to be a different model. It'll be something familiar that everyone's used before, but it'll just drive like a Donovan-derived, Slarka-tuned IndyCar.
Alright, so since we're talking about Slarka, we can move to Slarka here, which is as far as I know, because for everyone who is watching, I have not been here for that long, actually, only the last 5 years maybe, but racing in Second Life has decades. So as far as I know, Slarka was an old-time series that was in hiatus for a long time, and they recently returned with the comeback of Anthony Stewart, historic Anthony Stewart, to the grid. And as far as I know, they're being quite successful in the return, right?
Yeah. It's they're gradually finding their footing again as they develop new cars, rebuild some of their old tracks to live up to modern standards, and also create brand new tracks. This car in particular, they race on Fridays, so they just raced this last night, which was won yet again by Biller. I think Corey over there, who was with us, finished in second or third. I can't remember from the video. But yeah, these late model stock cars, they're derived specifically for short track racing. So not big ovals like Carmenere or Roseland. They're mainly for things like Bristol or these small little hometown local short tracks that you'd find in smaller communities throughout the United States. But yeah, they do all kinds of other racing, or will be eventually. They're going to introduce stock trucks. So if you know the Craftsman Truck Series, they're going to have those around soon. They are eventually going to have a more proper NASCAR style oval series with Gen 4 stock cars from the late 90s and 2000s. And then on Sundays, their main league or series is the Champ Car Series, which is the ICR 20 Indy cars, which is the same model that SRL is going to move to eventually. But their SRL IndyCar series, or sorry, Champ Car, their Slarka Champ Car series is going to, it currently runs on short ovals, big ovals, road courses. So yeah.
It's a bit sad that these series are usually at times that are a bit too late for Europeans, but I guess it makes sense because the main public of the stock cars and Indy cars are mainly Americans. Moving to another stock car series, Star from Mary Robbins with the Cup 19s. I remember driving this.
Yep, and I actually just raced these earlier this week. I can't remember. I think it was on Wednesday morning. Yeah, Marie Robbins. I can't tell if he wants to be she wants to be called Mary or Marie. I think it's Marie. But yeah, she runs this league primarily on Wednesdays in the mornings, or well, technically 1 p.m. And then later at night around 5 p.m. or so. So twice a day, 4 races total. They're quick little 40 to 50 lappers. They primarily race at Racers Island using various ovals or Reser circuits. They don't do any road course racing, but yeah, fun little Wednesday racing to get involved in. I don't know their usual turnouts, but they have a unique lineup of drivers and some familiar names that show up.
Lovely. And then to end with the stock car series, Fast Friday. I guess it's the one I know the most because it happens at times that are familiar for me. Even if this last season I didn't really race, but I'm still very familiar with this series. I raced a couple times last season, or a couple times I think. And this one is hosted by Candy. It happens, as the name suggests, in Fridays at 1 p.m. Second Life time. And in the last season they have been using this LCR stock car, but as far as I know, they are going to switch as well to another car model.
Yeah, they're planning on switching the type of racing entirely. So it won't be the LCR stocks. I don't know exactly what car it is that they're going to use. Do they have it? Because Candy hasn't decided on it yet. I've heard what she's considering, but it's not going to be ovals. I'll just say that much. It's going to be more twisty road course stuff. Because we have a lot of oval racing right now. There's Star, there's SRL, and there's Slarka. Which Slarka will eventually have their own road course racing stuff too, like specific road course racing series. But Candy is going to, because Fast Friday isn't specifically just stock cars. Like it started, the way that Fast Friday started actually was it was a different car every single Friday. You just go to a different track, different road course, oval, road course car, oval car, whatever. But then it turned into just the LCR stocks because I think mainly because they weren't really being used anywhere else, and Candy really liked them. So the LCR stocks really only at the moment are being used at this point forward for the Carmen R500, and also this next coming Sunday, the 19th. I think it's going to be the 19th this Sunday. Yep. So no, sorry, 2 weeks from now. So no, it'll be 1 week. Sorry. So at 1 week after tomorrow will be the Carolina Mountains 200 at Racers Island, specifically at what's the track name? She didn't put it there. Chihuahua something. It's going to be it's going to have a 2-lap qualifier. Only the top 20 people get to partake, plus up to 5 provisionals for Saturday's shootout. So there's going to be the race the day before using the Cup 90s beside us, and the top 5 from there basically automatically qualify to start, I think, toward the back, or at least we'll get to partake in qualifying for the LCR stocks the day after on Sunday. It is a 200-lap race, and it'll last for about 50 minutes.
As usual, you can find more details about this or written details, let's say, on the FBA Discord server, to which you can access through our the website fbaracing.com, that you will find on top of this.
Actually, these details that I read from are from the Racers Island Discord.
I mean, I don't have
which not a lot of people have joined yet. I keep, sometimes when I forward the events that Candy posts, I'll also include the Discord link, but no one ever joins it.
Okay, I guess we have to do a bit more promo of it then. It's somewhere in the Discord server from FBA, because then, yeah, there you will find in the Racers Island Discord server, you will find as well the details on this race. And if you want to stay up to date and you want to participate, it is the place where to be for this and more events, of course, because any event that happens there, or is organized mainly by the Racers Island core team, is gonna be promoted there. Moving here to the GT Super Series with Cali's McLaren F1 on top. Series that this season was won by Luke Carmona, and it's expected to be back next season, of course. About this series we talked about more about in the last podcast, but I guess we can do a little mention to it as well here. Since Emmy is here, we can also ask her any plans on or changes to the format, to the cars you want to share with us.
Yeah.
Or that you can spoil as well, look, since we are in voice.
Well, we'll see what Emmy has to say about it first. I know the details of what's going to change. It's not going to be much, but we'll see what Emmy says.
Qualifying will change from one lap qualified to something else, since there won't be draft. Other than that, I'm not sure. Remember, Amy, that we talked about considering the option to discard from the final standings the worst race of each driver. This is an idea that was put there. Not sure if it's gonna happen in the end, but I remember she mentioned that she always forget about it, so I have to mention it again. So this is a practice this is a rule that was, I remember it was applied to the cycling races, that after completing a whole season, the worst race of each driver from the season was not counted, and the rest of the points from each race were counted. So if someone for some reason had to skip a race or had a particularly bad race because of whatever, they had this joker card, let's say, to not count that one and sum the other rest. So
I don't know. The FEA has never done that before. I mean, I've introduced the possibility in the past, but it got shut down. So I don't know. You'll have to probably ask more public opinion about that thing. I know that other leagues actively do that, where like Slarka, they'll cut sometimes up to 3 of your worst results. That means very serious that it is going to happen. I guess for me it's annoying with record keeping, trying to cut out all those missing results because I don't use spreadsheets with automatic sorting anymore. So, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, it's Emmy's series, so. But yeah, the main things to know with GT Super Series in the next season is that there will be no draft, and that qualifying is probably just going to be a group format. We'll probably, depending on how many people show up, it's going to be like split into 2 groups. So you'll just take whoever's there and split them evenly and set them out or send them out into their own groups of, like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes each or something, I guess. Since drafting won't be an issue, we won't have to do one person at a time.
I guess we'll have more details in the coming weeks or months, because the off season doesn't last that long. I guess, like 2 months maybe. People want to get ready.
Right now, the preliminary calendar that I have set up, it starts. The official seasons start right at the start of September.
Alrighty, we're going to discuss about that because there's a weekend I cannot be there, but yeah, we'll see. Just to host Proto Cup, Proto Cup is the next stand here with Corey Ikershaw car, the champion of the Proto Cup 2 category this season, hosted by me. It's also coming back next season with few changes. PC1 is out. Only what used to be PC2 will just become normal PC Proto Cup, which means that it's again oriented for rookies and drivers with less experience, in order for them to shine and to have a place where to start making a name in the community.
Real quick, right-click the reel so it starts rotating. Right-click the reel so it starts to rotate on your end.
I see it rotating.
You see the car rotating, not the reel.
Ah. Thing below is not. It doesn't.
If it's still not doing it, then it's just busted.
It's okay. It's okay.
On your end, it's a local issue.
Also, the car also will receive changes. We are pretty sold for the non-draft for these cars. I know some people didn't like that much, but I can tell you that it will be a good call, because for the expected return of GP1 hopefully next year, it's good for people to get used to driving without draft, because these cars don't have draft. And on top of that, it is also good that people learn to drive without draft and try to find their way to advance in the pass people, to attack people on track without the little advantage or the little strategy that has been followed so far with draft, which is about take draft to get more speed and take advantage of that by dive bombing or being a bit more aggressive that people in theory should be. Not saying that people is very intentionally aggressive, but it's true that the draft has not been very responsibly used some occasions, and this will open the opportunity for people to learn to drive without draft, and on top of that to get used to what's to come in GP1 hopefully 2027.
Well, I mean, the removal of draft has absolutely nothing to do with the preparation of GP1. It's not to get anyone up to speed with it and get used to it. No, it's just simply for the fact that people are. It's clunky and awkward at times, depending on who's driving with the draft, especially for the with the lower tier leagues. in that it's again, as you mentioned, it's a draft responsible, or you have to draft responsibly kind of thing. A lot of people, by intent or by not intent. Um, it can be a bit messy when people see that they have a lot of speed, or they don't know how to control that extra amount of speed through the corner. And it's going to make things a lot easier for following packs of cars or another car ahead of you through a corner, rather than having to make a bunch of micro adjustments to the steering and the throttle while you're behind somebody, and you'll have more consistent braking points because you're not going to be going faster than you would have been during practice, because draft will speed you up. And uh, so yeah, no, we just want to see what happens, and we think it'll be a good change. Is Yeah, so far in testing and with smaller races and whatnot, it's been fine. If people are worried about not being able to make passes, don't. You'll be able to make passes, and you will be able to keep up with some people. You'll be surprised by how fast you are without the draft when you're behind someone. So this is mainly all just going to come down to your own personal consistency out on track. So yeah, Proto Cup, no draft, but also where I'm speeding the cars up. I'm even considering the possibility that they may just be the exact same speed as the GTP cars. They'll just be slightly smaller.
Yeah, that would be
But
too
we also
much,
need to figure.
yeah.
We also need to figure out at some point exactly what the format is, because I need to configure how long the tires will last.
Oh yeah, that's
I
true.
can't just release them right now as they are.
That's something I can actually mention already, since apparently most people prefer the long. I mean, we got the results of the surveys already, and basically of the polls, sorry, and basically people prefer one single race over long race over two short ones, and most of them prefer the long 30-minute races. So most likely it's going to be, the format will be changed to one race only, and that one race will last around 30 minutes, so it will require one pit stop. Still to be reviewed, but most likely that's gonna be how we do.
Yeah, and with that format, it's going to be very similar to GT Super Endurance, just the only difference being really that you're only racing for half the distance. Because if you think about it, with the way that the tires have been adjusted for this season, we're going back to what it was like in, I think, 2025A or 24B, where throughout the race there would be on average 4 stints, not 3 stints. So you'd have 3 stops, and over a 30-minute race, that's just 1 stop. So it's 2 stints. You're really only it's not like Proto Cup drivers who are going to be racing for 30 minutes. It's not like they're racing longer than a GT SE driver would. So it's literally just GT Super Endurance, but half the duration.
Talking about
And
GT
with
Super Endurance, yes.
Yeah. I was just about to say, and with the more similar pace, if not identical pace, depending on what I do with the speed of the car, it'll be a more accurate representation of people's skills on track. So you could actually have a GT or a Proto Cup driver who might lap quicker than some of the GT SE drivers, but it'll be a very good indication of, hey, wow, that driver is actually really, really quick, and then teams might actually try to approach these people because they'll have a more accurate depiction of what they can do on track in comparison to the signed professionals.
And now, yes, moving to GT Super Endurance, hosted by Emmy Blueberry, will be back next season, even if at the beginning was not very certain if there was going to be GTSC. In the end, there will be GTSC. Hosted in this case again by Emmy, but she will have the help from both Valky and myself. And this season champion were even if we have here the LCR car champion of the 2025B season. This season champions were the Renaissance Van Wedelbein car 666 with Rao Hakuro and Ragnar Van Wittelmint.
Yes, yeah. I just placed this car down because we didn't know the champion. I didn't want to place like a champion car or anything, so I just plopped down the reigning champ, I guess. I was going to put down the MD car. I was thinking, but anyway, yeah, GT Super Endurance. That was a really fun season. But this is the outside of Grand Prix 1. This is the current active big one of the two big championships that the FEA has. So team based. It is the most team involved championship for sure. So you'd have 2 to 3 drivers per car, plus any extra personnel if they have them, like strategists and team managers and whatnot. But team managers and owners can also be the drivers. So you could have a team that has literally only 2 people on it, or you could have a team that has like 10. So
it was
it's
a Sky High team, right? That they have plenty of people in the on their garage every race, besides the drivers. So that's a huge team.
Yeah, it's something like 5 or so. But then you had your team, which had sometimes 3 drivers in 1 car, but it was usually like 2 and 2. But you guys were like a team of 5 for the most part. And then LCR, we were mainly just a team of 3, and then we added 1, so it was a 4-person team at the end of the season. But yeah, that's the other thing I forgot to mention with GT Super Endurance. If you have enough people, you could field 2 cars if you wanted to. Which, by the way, I want to mention for anyone who's listening, just if you do field 2 cars, I know it's easy. I mean, personally, I prefer just aesthetically if teams who run 2 cars use the same model, but you do have the option if you want to. You could have 1 team that runs 2 different models on track. They just have to look similar to each other in terms of paint design. Not seen anyone do that yet.
I guess people like symmetry in general, so, or maybe they just put the effort to create 1 livery.
But the symmetry is really nice. It's like, yeah, like I personally like to have my team use, if there are 2 cars on track, I like for them to have the exact same car. 1, a lot easier to deal with painting, but also it just looks more like a team.
Yes, exactly. And finally moving to GP1, which is the most expected series of all time, now set at the moment to return in 2027, is still to be seen because it has been delayed more than once. But look, I know you gave us some details already in the last podcast, but you can also give us some details here about what to expect about the most awaited series in Second Life Racing.
It's just going to be a harking back to days of old in a sense, but with a modern touch to it, with modern advancements in technology. So think more along the lines of Season 3, with the amount of tire options and just the simple save push and race gears, where you don't have to worry about burning up the engine or the red light flashing on the back end and warning you that things are getting too hot. You can just push the entire race if you want to, if that's the strategy you want with whatever tire you select. It's basically lessening the number of elements, but broadening the amount of options within those that condensed amount of strategy elements. So, but also we're, of course, as you can see, we're going back to more conventional open wheel design. I tried to find a model that was something more, I suppose you could say lesser known, because when it comes to Grand Prix 1, I want it to have its own identity rather than, oh, that's an F1 car, or oh, that's a, that from what we used last season, that car was using Gran Turismo. It's like, I know that car now. This car, even though people say, like, when people look at this car, they what I've heard so far is they will ask what it is, which is good. I want people to ask, what is that car? Was that an F1 car, or it actually wasn't an F1 car in reality? This thing was raced in America, but it looks roughly similar to a Formula One car because it was designed specifically for road course racing, and it was from 2007. So you can see the design language from the late 2000s in there. But yeah, so 2027, the season length itself probably is going to be throughout the entire year rather than A, B, A, B, A, B. No, just 2027, 2028, 2029. Because if I want to have enough time to run this series properly, then I need to space the events out, and I need to have more time rather than everything being condensed into like a 7-race schedule over 6 months or 5 months. So yeah, I mean that's really about all that I can say right now. The car is still under development, and I got to figure out the tires, but there should be a model out soon for people to start fiddling with if they want to start painting either a GP2 design or a GP, whatever the GP1 teams, because again, GP1 charters will still be in effect from the previous season. So any team that raced in 2024B will get to have first dibs or priority acceptance into the 2027 season.
All I hope is to Gattino Racing to be back. Scuderia Gattino.
Gattino?
Yes. That was the most epic brand ever created in GP1. GP1 will be the same car, Lucas says yes. Just without this thingy on top, right? You mentioned.
The T-cam on top of the roll hoop, yeah, that won't be there for the GP2 car. Just to try to have some kind of differential visual variety between them.
More details about GP2 to follow whenever the time comes, but it will be another rookie-oriented series.
Yeah, which again, as has been mentioned in the past, if or when GP1 returns, GP2 will tag along with it, but it's possible that it will cut out Proto Cup, maybe. I'm not sure, because with the series being an annual series rather than AB, it may not have to compete so much with the space over the weekends.
Alrighty, so that's pretty much the whole exhibition. The last thing to mention is if people has been observing and trying to find their names, most likely here on the ground, because yes, evoking a bit this Hollywood vibe and the, how do you call this in America, the Hall of Fame or the Hall of the Famous, where they put the stars in Hollywood, right?
No, they didn't call this the Hall of Fame. I don't know what it is. It's just the stars on Broadway. I don't know. Hollywood Walk of Fame. There you go.
Hollywood Walk of Fame. Let me read what Kali says. The stars are the latest implementation of something Candy and I started for Second Life 20B 4 years ago. Candy gathered the names and had them written similar to graffiti you see at Nürburgring. The stars felt fitting with the theme this year. There are a total of 136 names, 133 of which were active drivers within the last year. The remaining 3 are Eddie Mattilson, Mango Darvinian and Nella Bocara.
And they're mainly listed despite not being drivers of late because Callie is the owner of Racers Island and Eddie and Mango were very big names at Racers Island, so just by nature she had to include them. Bit of Racers Island bias if I say, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, so again, as mentioned, every single one of these names, minus those other 3, have all taken part in, from what we've been able to gather, in Second Life Racing within the last 365 days, so at least from the last Second Life birthday celebration.
I'm trying to find mine. Let me see.
What?
Ah, here it is. Here it is. Here's my star, guys.
Yeah,
I'm
and
famous. Next to Ivan
and
Evans.
Callie just. And then Callie just said, Racers Island stands upon the shoulders of giants. We celebrate 19 years on Monday. Okay, so this coming Monday, I haven't heard any other announcements about that. You guys need to talk about it more. Racers Island turns 19 years old, the sim.
Is there any event planned for it?
And it's probably going to be the Carolina 200.
Oh, true. Makes
Carolina
sense.
Mountains 200 on Sunday the day before.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Will be open again for a barefoot run. I remember that.
And for context, for people who have no idea, Mango Darwinian never wore shoes. Like, ever. Even in his racing suit, he was just running around barefoot.
I'm just focusing a bit on the stars so people can find themselves if they have been participating in racing in recent times. But yeah, that's pretty it actually. The exhibition.
Yep.
Lot of thanks to Cali for making this exhibition and for representing the community towards Second Life. This fine, this nice. Also to anyone else who collaborated, such as Luke and Candy.
Yep. Last year in 2025, I'm the one who basically built the entire thing by myself. This year, it was more or less basically Callie who built it all by herself. So that means in 2027, it's Candy's turn. She gets to do it all by herself.
If you are hearing Candy, you know what's
It's
gonna
only
happen
fair.
next year.
It's totally kidding.
So yeah.
But I mean, I wanted to help more this year, but I just didn't have any time for it because the Harmony thing over there. I mean, Callie barely had any time either. She did this all last minute for the most part.
It was pretty nice to be done last minute, actually. Second Life 20B was definitely the one we had the most collaboration on. It was a special year as well, right? Like round number.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess
Because, like, understandably, the birthday celebrations haven't been pushed that much.
It was
since
also
then.
the year of the PBR. I remember.
Yeah.
The racing community didn't have the best of their moments back then. It was also, I guess, when we had the issues with the physics, that suddenly the cars were snagging into every track, every corner, for who knows why. Yeah, it was a bit of a weird year for racing overall, but yeah, in the end, everything ran fine.
Mm-hmm. To answer, or to actually add more or reply to a comment in the chat, because Kenneth says, for something done at the last minute, it looks amazing, which it's not like super last minute in the sense, but we do have to give more credit to Kelly, because the track behind us, the wood track back there, and the film reels that all these cars sit on, she made all of this from scratch in Blender.
Including this model that will become a series in the near future. With Harmony, I think.
Oh, well, yes,
Is it?
I was just gonna say, yeah, the Harmony track, she helped mesh that whole upper elevated section. Oh, yeah. I didn't see she mentioned it in the chat.
Alrighty, so I guess that's pretty it. Yeah, we have a couple little cars here. The Volkswagen Beetle in this corner. This is from a movie, right? The Beetle with the 53.
Herbie.
Yeah, that's it.
It just doesn't have Yeah, it just doesn't have its stripes.
Exactly, and the minis from the Italian Job as well.
I've never seen that movie.
Honestly, me neither. I just know it exists. I should watch it. Yeah, I'm not that very into all time cinema, you know. Shame on me, but okay, so it's official. Race's Island birthday will be celebrated with a movie, Italian Job, 1979. There is a modern version of
69.
it, right?
The modern version I've heard is terrible.
Yeah,
Not worth
usually
it.
as with
It's
any
like been
remake.
heavily Americanized.
Alrighty, so yeah, I guess that's pretty it. So thank you everyone for watching the live stream. I hope it was instructive for you all. You know, until when is this exhibition open? One more week, right? Until the 19th.
20 something.
So yeah, basically
I think the
you have
23rd.
now 1 week and something to join and to watch, to see yourself, and yeah, to appreciate the contribution. Cory is saying more live streams. Yeah, there's gonna be more live streams, no worry. I just need to find out what was the problem with the performance, because that was very annoying. I wanted to show the new model, but whatever. I will find a way to make that work properly. But yeah, that's pretty it, I guess. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching again. And
A couple of quick plugs here
yes,
before we do close out. So remember, the 19th, so a week from tomorrow, is the Carolina Mountains 200 at Racers Island. It is a 200 lap race, but it's also kind of a big lead up. They have a Friday event, a Saturday event, and then the Sunday event, all happening at the same track. But then after that, on August 1st and 2nd, remember there is the Tokyo 24 hours, which is a bring whatever you want, drive whatever you want. You just come and go as you please over the course of 24 hours and set as many laps as you can. You can have team efforts if you want to, using the hashtag or pound object name method. Share the car, you know, because it shows up as the same entity on the gate, if you do it that way. And also, the grid games are coming up very soon. I forget exactly what date. I think it's like August 14th is the opening ceremony, and then it goes for 2 weeks. There's going to be the Motorsports event on the 23rd, whichever is the Sunday after the 14th, and then on the 15th is the 100-meter dash, both at LC Racing Circuits. So, lots of stuff to do coming up.
yeah, I need to look into it because I will most likely live stream that event as well. The one from next week. I just need to properly set a calendar for it. But yeah, lots of events this summer, even if it's off season, and there's gonna be live stream of them for sure.
Yes.
Alrighty, so yeah, that's pretty it. Thank you again, everyone,
Yep, that'll do it.
for watching, and see you then next week.